Hello students, today we will discuss poetry textual question main text. In previous video we had discussed about section A and section B. In this video we will discuss poetry textual question and supplementary reader textual question. So let's start the video. What do the following phrase means to you? First, Hamid's shadow refer to the dark clouds pregnant with water which bring rain. Starry spheres refer to the sky with innumerable stars. What a bliss refer to the extreme happiness that the poet enjoy in his cottage laying in his bed while the rain is pattering on the roof. Fourth, 1,000 dreaming fancies into busy. Being start refer to the various flight of fancies. Fifth है 1,000 recollection view their air threads into woof. It means refers to the numerous memories that intermingle to the form a beautiful picture in the poetic mind. तो स्टूडेंट्स ये जो फ्रेज़ हैं उनके क्या क्या मीनिंग होते हैं ये हमने डिस्कस किए हैं. अगर आपको टेक्स्ट क्लियरली नहीं दिख रहा है तो आप वॉइस से भी इनको अंडरस्टैंड कर सकते हो. क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 इज़ व्हाट डज द पोइट लाइक टू डू व्हेन इट रेन्स? When it rains, the poet feels great delighted. He would like to lie in his cottage chamber bed with his head pressed on a pillow and listen to the patter of the soft rain. Answer is continue. Listen to the patter of the soft rain. Third, what is the single major memory that comes to the poet? Who are the darling dreamers he refers to? Answer is the single major memory that comes to the poet is that of his mother and of her fond look. The darling dreamers are the poet and his sibling in their childhood when they were lovingly put to sleep by their mother. Next question. Is the poet now child? Is his mother still alive? Answer is no, the poet is now not a child. He is a grown up man. His mother is no more alive, but the poet cannot forget her. The memory of his mother, her fondling, is still alive in his mind, and he remembers how she put them to sleep caressingly. So students, Rain on the Roof, written by Coates Kinney. Question answer is completed. Now we will discuss our next poem. Poem 4th, question number 1st. What kind of place is Innisfree? Think about. First, the 3 things the poet wants to do when he goes back there. स्टेंजा फर्स्ट में इसका आंसर है. स्टूडेंट्स यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन कंप्लीट नहीं लिखा है. यू कैन सी योर टेक्स्ट बुक. आंसर इज द पोइट वॉन्ट्स टू बिल्ड ए स्मॉल कैबिन ऑफ क्ले एंड वेटल्स. एंड बी, what he hears and sees in included B, he wants to plant 9 rows of beans. A है, B है और C, he wants to keep honey bees hive. 3 थिंग्स जो पोइट है वो चाहते थे वो स्टेंजा फर्स्ट में है. क्वेश्चन फर्स्ट का सेकंड है व्हाट ही हियर्स एंड सीज देयर एंड इट्स इफेक्ट ऑन हिम. स्टेंजा सेकंड में इसका आंसर है. तो इसके अंदर ए है ही हियर्स द क्रिकेट सॉन्ग, बी ही होल्ड्स linnets flying in the sky and C है he sees gleaming midnight and glowing room. अब नेक्स्ट थर्ड है what he hears in his heart's core even when he is far away from Innisfree. तो इसका आंसर स्टेंजा थर्ड में है. when the poet is far away from Innisfree, he hears the sound of the lake waters washing the shores in his heart's core. नंबर 2 है by now you may have concluded that Innisfree is a simple natural place full of beauty and peace. How does the poet contrast it with where he now stands? Read stanza third. Answer is the poet contrasts the clay and wattles made cabin be loud glade morning with dews and crickets. Answer is continue. Songs midnight with glimmer, noon with purple glow, evening with linnet's song, lake water lapping with low sounds by the shores, etc. Question number third is, do you think Innisfree is only a place or a state of mind? Does the poet actually miss the place of his boyhood days? Answer is, although Innisfree is the poet's boyhood haunt, it also represents his state of mind. The poet wishes to escape to Innisfree as it is more peaceful than where he is now, the city. Innisfree is a representative of what the poet considered an ideal place to live, which is devoted of the restless humdrum of his life. ओके स्टूडेंट्स, अब हम जो हमारे सप्लीमेंट्री के क्वेश्चन आंसर हैं उसमें 3 चैप्टर लिए गए हैं उनको डिस्कस करेंगे. Chapter first, the lost child. Question number first is, what are the things the child sees on his way to the fair? Why does he lag behind? I know you can understand every question with answer. On his way to the fair, the child sees toys, balloon at different colors, garland of gulmohar, a swing, and a snake charmer playing a flute. He gets attracted on sweetmeat seller. He gets attracted towards all things, so he lags behind. Next question number 2 is, in the fair he wants many things. What are they? Why does he move on without waiting for an answer? The child wants many things in the fair. He wants to have toys, different sweets, garland, balloon on different colors, and has a keen desire to enjoy the round boat. He moves on without waiting for an answer because whenever he stops to see things, his parents give him a cautionary call, come child, come. Question number third, when does he realize that he has lost his way? How have the anxiety and insecurity been described? The child sees a round boat in the fair and gets attracted to it. He wants to have a ride on it. He asks his parents for permission to enjoy it. Having no response on the part of his parents, he realizes that he has lost his way. He starts crying bitterly at once and runs here and there in search of them. Question number 4, why does the lost child lose interest in the things that he had wanted early? The lost child loses interest in the things he had wanted earlier because he got lost in the fair. He is panic stricken for being lost now. He first wants his parents. He is afraid and feels unsafe. Question number 5 is, what do you think happened in the end? Does the child find his parents? Yes, I feel that the child finds his parents at last. The kind-hearted person must have tried his best to find his parents. On the other hand, the parents of the child must have left no stone unturned to find their child. Now we will discuss next chapter. Chapter 2, the adventures of Toto. Question first is, how does Toto come to grandfather's private zoo? Answer is, Toto was in the captivity of a Tonga owner. The grandfather gets sympathetic with the monkey and thinks that his private zoo would be a better place for Toto. So he purchased Toto from the Tonga wala for 5 rupees. Question number 2, Toto was pretty monkey. In what sense is Toto pretty? Answer, Toto was pretty monkey. His bright eyes sparkled with mischief beneath the deep set eyebrows, and his teeth, which were a purely white, were very often displayed in a smile that frightened the life out of elderly Anglo-Indian ladies. Even though his hands looked dried up as they had been pickled in the sun for many years, his fingers were quick and wicked. His tail, while adding to his good looks, served as a third hand. He could use it to hang from a branch, and it was capable of scooping up any delicacy that might he out of reach of his hands. Question number third is, why does grandfather take Toto to Saharanpur and how? Why does the ticket collector insist on calling Toto a dog? Answer is, Toto was a real means for every living soul in the household. Other animals in grandfather's zoo were at Toto's mercy even during night. So grandfather decided to provide some relief to other animals in the zoo and thought of taking Toto to Saharanpur. He was taken in a big black canvas kit bag with some straw at the bottom. When the dog was closed, all his efforts to get out were restrained. The ticket collector was following his rule books, as there seems to be no rules for fixing a monkey's fare, so he equated Toto with a dog's fare. The ticket collector tried to categorize all pets of a certain size as dog. Next question. How does Toto take a bath? Where has he learned to do this? How does Toto almost boil himself alive? Answer है, Toto takes bath in a tub of warm water. He would first test the temperature, then gradually step into the bath. Then he would apply soap and rub himself all over. When the water became cold, he would run to the kitchen fire in order to dry himself. As monkeys are good at aping others, Toto learnt proper steps of bathing by watching her narrator doing the same. Once having tested the warmth of water in the kettle, he got in with his head sticking out from the open kettle. The water began to boil. Probably he was not intelligent enough to understand the risk of boiling water, so he popped his head up and down in the kettle until grandmother arrived and hauled him out of the kettle. This is how Toto nearly succeeded to boiling himself. Fifth question, last question. Why does the author say Toto was not the sort of pet we could keep for long? Answer है, though Toto was pretty and clever, he was very mischievous. He brought a lot of damage to the house by breaking dishes, tearing clothes, curtains. He also scared the visitors by tearing holes in their dresses. Furthermore, he didn't get along well with other animals in the house too. One day, Toto crossed the limits by picking up a dish of pulao and running on a branch to eat it. When scolded, he threw off the plates and broke it. That's when grandfather realized that he had enough of Toto. He couldn't bear the losses that he had incurred because of Toto's mischief. Okay student, ये chapter 2 is completed. Now we will discuss chapter 3, Iswaran the storyteller. Students, now we will discuss Iswaran the storyteller, chapter 3, question answer. Question first is, in what way is Iswaran an assistant to Mahendra? Answer is, Iswaran was a good domestic assistant for Mahendra. Apart from cooking and doing household chores, he was a great entertainer for his master. He was good at managing resources, as he could find vegetables out of nowhere. Also, never had complained while accompanying his master. Question number 2. How does Iswaran describe the uprooted tree on the highway? What effect does he want to create to his listeners? Iswaran described the uprooted tree on the highway with eyebrows suitable arched and hands held out in a dramatic way. He would begin by saying that the road was deserted and he was all alone. Suddenly, he spotted something that looked like an enormous bushy beast laying sprawled across the road. He was half inclined to turn and go back, but as he came closer, saw that it was a fallen tree with its dry branches spread out. The effect he wants to create is suspense and a surprise ending to every small incident that he narrates to his readers. Question number 3. How does he narrate the story of the tusker? Does it appears to be palpable? He started the story of the elephant by giving a prologue in which he called Elephant, whose well-fed beast. He said that after escaping from the timber yard, the elephant started roaming about, stamped on bushes and tore up wild creepers. It then came to main road of the town and smashed all the stalls selling fruits, mud pots and clothes. Answer is continue. It then entered a school ground where the children were playing. All the teachers and students were so afraid that they climbed up to the terrace of the school building. According to Ishwan, he was studying in the junior class at that time. He grabbed a cane from the hands of one of the teachers and ran into the open. When the elephant was ready to rush towards him, he moved forward and whacked its third toenail. It looked stunned and then collapsed. This story does not appear to be palpable. Can't believe this story is not believable. Question number 4. Why does the author say that Iswaran seemed to more than make up for the absence of a TV in Mahendra's living quarter? Answer is, the author says to because Iswaran provided a great company to Mahendra. He would chat with Mahendra at night when he returned from his work. Iswaran would also entertain Mahendra by telling stories. Thus, with Iswaran around, Mahendra never felt bored. Question number 5. Mahendra calls ghosts or spirits a figments of the imagination. What happens to him on a full moon lights? Answer is, Mahendra calls ghosts or spirits a figments of the imagination because Iswaran informed him that they were living on a burial sites and keep narrating to him stories of various ghosts he himself had encountered. On one full moon night, Mahendra was woken up from his sleep by a low moan close of his windows. At first he thought that it was a cat prowling around for mice. Answer is continue. But the sound was too deep and gestures for a cat. He resisted looking outside as he did not want to witness a sight that stopped his heartbeat. Lowering himself to the level of the windowsill, he looked out at the white sheet of moonlight outside. There, not too far away, was a dark, cloudy form clutching a bundle. He broke into a cold sweat and fell back on the pillow, panting. Okay, student, नेक्स्ट वीडियो में हम इसका रिवीजन बचा हुआ रिवीजन करेंगे. अभी जो हमने किया वो सब आपको नोटबुक में लिखना है. ओके, थैंक यू.